This is Scrivener. This is a Chromebook. And this is Scrivener running properly on a Chromebook. If you've ever wanted to use Scrivener on ChromeOS, fully offline, properly installed with no remote desktops, no outdated Linux hacks and no third-party workarounds, this video will show you how. In this video, I'll be walking you through a full Wine setup that activates correctly and permanently, works long term, and avoids the two problems that usually break Scrivener on Chromebooks: blank documents and corrupted project files. And the best part? Most of the setup is fully automated, using a simple installer I've created to do the heavy lifting for you. Before we go any further, there's something important you need to know. Most guides that claim to run Scrivener on a Chromebook technically work at first, but they can fail later. Projects go blank, fonts don't work properly, files corrupt, activation breaks, and people assume Scrivener just isn't supported. The problem isn't Scrivener. It's how ChromeOS handles files and how Wine is usually set up. This installation avoids all of that, because we're doing a full Wine install inside Crostini with very specific rules about where projects live. Follow those rules and Scrivener works exactly like it does on Windows: offline, permanently activated and stable. Before we start, you'll need a Chromebook, at least 10 gigs of space for Linux storage, which you can reduce later, the Scrivener for Windows installer from the Literature and Latte website, the Chromebook installer that I've created, a Scrivener for Windows license code which is optional for the first 29 days as they offer a nice little testing option, basic comfort using the terminal, helpful but not necessary as I talk you through it. Everything else is free. If all this sounds a bit technical, don't worry, because the installer does most of the stuff for you. Any bits that aren't covered by it are covered with the rest of the easy to follow instructions in this video. So let's get started. Head on over to the Literature and Latte website and download the Scrivener for Windows version using the link in the description of this video. Scroll down the page and click on Download in the Windows section. Click on the Chromebook installer link in the description of this video to download the installer. Next, on your Chromebook, double-click to unzip the file and then drag and drop the file into the Downloads tab. Click on the Downloads tab and you should have 3 files: the Scrivener install exe, the Chromebook installer zip file, and the Chromebook installer.sh. And now it's time to set up Linux. To install Linux on a Chromebook, we need to click on the menu icon. Now in the search bar, type the word Linux, Linux. Click on the terminal app and it will open a black box. Now click on the Setup button. Scroll down in the Settings menu to get to the Linux development environment and click Setup. Let's just close those down. Now we need to click on Next and select Recommended 10 GB. Then click on the Install button. This part of the video has been sped up. We now have Linux installed on the Chromebook. Now it's time for the next step. First, open the Files app. Now click on the Downloads and select the 2 files that you've downloaded and drag them to Linux Files. Next, open the Terminal app. Click on the penguin and type in the following command to make the file executable. Then press enter. Now we need to run the command and then press enter to run the installer and see the initializing screen. Now press enter to start the install. This can take a little while, so please wait as the files are downloaded. I've sped up some of this installation so that you don't have to wait so long. Now we see Wine auto-detecting the screen size of your Chromebook. This screen size will be saved in the settings for later. What we're doing here is setting up the environment to be able to run Scrivener. Since Scrivener is built to run on Windows, and we need to set up Windows in a Linux environment. This blue screen will flash sometimes as Wine starts to install itself. Next, we are downloading .NET. These are very important files and will help you activate Scrivener later. The screen flashing happens a couple of times and it's epilepsy friendly. Next, we'll be extracting .NET and installing onto your Chromebook. Don't forget to check the box to accept the terms and conditions, and then click on the install button. Why not pause the video and grab yourself a drink? Welcome back. I've sped up this part of the install, but kept the video in so you don't miss any part of the installation. Now click Finish to end the install of .NET. Next, the installer will start to flash the screen several times more. Just watch and wait while this is being done. And now just click on Continue. Don't worry about the warning. This is expecting a Windows environment. We are running in Linux, so that's not an issue. Now check the box to accept the license terms and click on the Install button. Now that installation is complete, you can click on Finish. Click Restart Now to continue. This would normally restart Windows, but since we're not running Windows, it will carry on straight into the Scrivener installer. To start the install, click the Next button. Now accept the agreement and click on Next again. And click on the Next button to continue. Scrivener will start to unpack its files onto your Chromebook. Now click the Finish button. You can now launch Scrivener from the App menu. Click on the bottom left-hand menu, look for the icon that looks like a penguin and says Scrivener 3. Scrivener will load with the fonts, with the spell checker and everything else that you'd usually find. I saved the tutorial as a tutorial Scrivener project. And here it is, the tutorial in all its glory. You can also add it to the app shelf or taskbar at the bottom. Click on the bottom left-hand menu, click on the Linux Apps section. Instead of left-clicking on Scrivener 3, tap with 2 fingers close together and select Pin to Shelf. And there you have it. Scrivener will now launch once you click that button. How to activate Scrivener. Launch Scrivener. Click on the Enter License, type in your email address, type in a license code, and click Activate License. Due to the way Chromebooks work, Dropbox Sync is impossible because it breaks projects. There is a way to open your Dropbox projects and transfer them to your Chromebook so that you can open them in Scrivener. To do this, open the Files app and you'll notice that the Dropbox folder is not available yet. To enable this, we have to install Dropbox. First, click on the menu and in the search bar, type the words Play Store. Open the Play Store app. Now look for Dropbox. Now click on the blue button to install Dropbox. Once you've installed it, click on the menu and start the app. Go through the initial setup to log into your Dropbox. On a Chromebook, there doesn't appear to be any way to show the files syncing, so you will need to wait for a little while as Dropbox downloads your files. Why not pause the video for a moment, grab yourself a drink, and I'll see you back in a minute. Welcome back! If you open the My Files app and Dropbox still isn't showing, don't worry. Open Dropbox and leave it running in the background. Now open the My Files app, and Dropbox has been added. Next, copy the project file from Dropbox and place it in the My Files folder. This is important. If you place it straight into the Linux folder, it will break your project. This can take a couple of tries, especially if you haven't given your Chromebook time to sync your files properly. Once your Chromebook has copied the Scriv file to the My Files folder, the Copy Complete box appears. Now we need to copy the file from the My Files folder and paste it into the Linux folder. And now it's as easy as opening Scrivener, click File Open, select your project, and ta-da! It works! If your project shows all blank pages, close Scrivener, delete your Scriv project in the Linux Files folder and in the My Files folder, then repeat the process, downloading the files from Dropbox to My Files and copying them to Linux files, then opening your project in Scrivener. And that's it for this Chromebook installer. Happy writing!